Okay, so in the extra sketch that we've been using to play around with Boolean expressions, we found that this expression, light sensor reading is greater than 30, or whatever your threshold value was, returns true when the box is open and false when the box is shut. This is exactly the kind of Boolean value we need as the condition in our if statement in the burglar alarm sketch. Let's go back to our burglar alarm sketch. I'm going to replace the condition in our if statement with this expression. Let's upload this code and see what it does. Okay, it kind of looks like we're done, but remember, it's always good to look for bugs in your code by trying to break it. Developing this skill is super important because it'll help you make your code more robust. It's also what computer hackers do. They try to purposely find mistakes in other people's code or products. So put yourself in the shoes of a burglar and try to break into your own box without setting off the alarm. Can you do it? Pause and ponder. Okay, I'm going to try to think like a burglar and break into this box without setting off the alarm. If I open the box, the buzzer turns on, and if I close the box, it turns off. I can repeat this a few times, and it's still working. Okay, no bugs so far. But what happens if I open the box super slowly? I can open the box a little bit without the buzzer turning on, so I haven't tripped the alarm. That means that I can peek inside and maybe even take out some small things without setting off the alarm. This is no good. To understand why this is happening, I want to use the serial plotter to see what the light sensor is reading at different times. Let's go back to our sketch and add in the serial printline function at the end of the loop, just after the end of our if-else statement. Let's give it the light sensor reading function as an input. Upload this code and open your serial plotter. Okay, when I open the box a tiny bit, the light sensor is detecting light. It shows a reading between 15 and 20. My threshold is 30 though, which is higher than the current reading. Since this reading is still below the threshold, it's not setting off the alarm, so Arduino is not turning on the buzzer. Pause the video and think a bit about how you could fix this. When you have an idea, unpause, and I'll tell you what I have in mind. Okay, I'm thinking that we need to decrease the threshold value. When my box is closed, the light sensor is reading 0, so any number that's greater than 0 should be okay for the threshold. And if it's lower than 30, which is the threshold I'm using now, then the alarm should be set off earlier, when the box is just open a tiny bit, like this. I'm going to try using 1 as the threshold value. Let's upload this code and see what it does. Okay, debugging mode again. Let's see if we fixed our bug. I can crack the box open just enough to see inside a tiny bit, but it's dark in there and I can't really see much. And when I open the box enough to get my hand in, the buzzer turns on, so the alarm has been set off. Great. But what happens when I close the box again? Okay, now if I open the box again, the buzzer turns on. Great. It looks like our burglar alarm is working exactly how we want. There's one last thing I want to do in my sketch. I'm going to make sure that the comments are up to date and explain what the sketch actually does. I'll remove this comment about the threshold value being 30 because we ended up using a threshold value of 1, so that's not accurate anymore. And our threshold value is here, right in our sketch anyway. I'm also going to delete this comment that starts with to do about using the light sensor instead of the toggle switch, because now we are using the light sensor instead of the toggle switch. I'm going to replace it with a comment that explains that the alarm should go off if the light sensor reading is greater than the threshold. Perfect. Now, if I'm looking at this sketch a few weeks from now, or if I share it with somebody else, they'll be able to look at the comments and understand what the code is supposed to do much more easily. Wow, nice work! You've learned how to use sensors and operators to make more powerful if statements, and you've got your burglar alarm box working. Great job! Now try changing your code to customize your alarm box. You could make it alternate between two different tones, like the siren did, for example. You could also change the code so that the alarm only turns off if you press the button or flip the toggle switch. But be careful if you decide to use the LED to make a flashing alarm. The LED makes light, and inside a closed box, the light sensor will see this light. That could make your alarm buggy. Also, don't forget to check out the next video where you'll see how to power your projects using a battery so that Arduino and Awesome Shield don't always have to be plugged into your computer.